just cannot be beat. And if you can just look at your local listings, listen to the radio, whatever you have to do to find that dime a dog night, go to dime a dog night. Take full advantage. It is your right as a red-blooded American. And as Daimeon loves to always say, this is America, Jack.
Speaking of coming to America, I was just watching that with a coworker on Friday on our lunch break, man. We were dying watching Coming to America, man. And we were having a discussion. We may need to have this on a future podcast. Which is funnier? Coming to America, Harlem Nights, or Life?
Oh my God. Now, if it's between Coming to America and Harlem Nights, I'm going Coming to America. But when you throw Life in there,
Life is ridiculous, man.
Yeah, Life is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life, man. And that should have been in my top 5 sports movies, because Can't Get Right could really tag a baseball.
Oh, we could have put that in there. We need to do a top 5 sports movies reloaded or part 2. We need to work on that for a future podcast, man.
Best idea you've ever had.
But we digress.
Number 2.
My number 2 reason for going to a ballpark to see a live baseball game is just everything, all encompassing, man. The sights and sounds of baseball, man. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the smell of freshly cut grass, man. The smell of the food. I mean, it's just an environment like no other. I've been to basketball games. I've been to football games, but going to a baseball game live, man, is nothing like it. Maybe I'm biased because living in Durham as a kid, going to the, recreational center, Birchwood Heights Recreational Center, they used to take us to baseball games all the time. And they took us to Durham Bulls games. So, I enjoyed going to games as a kid. I never went to a professional basketball game or a professional football game. I went to a professional baseball game. So that was my first experience going to an actual ballpark. So, I just enjoy the sights and sounds of the ballpark. Again, I implore you, I beg you, go to a baseball game. If you got kids, if you got a family, take your family. If you got a girlfriend, you got a wife, take your significant other. Enjoy a night at the ballpark. And I have to take my wife, LaShawn, before baby Loxley arrives. She is due on May the 19th. We got to check out a Durham Bulls game before she gives birth, because we don't know if we're going to be able to go to any games for the foreseeable future.
Man, if you don't find you a babysitter.
We got a few potential babysitters. But you got to go through like a checks and balances. You got to do a 15-year background check.
Listen, man, we got 16 brothers and sisters and so many nieces and nephews. I don't even know the number. You don't find somebody to watch that baby, man, so you can get out there and watch the Bulls. They made Bull Durham.
I don't trust any of our nieces and nephews, man. They jive turkeys, man. But no, I love.
Shout out to Germ the Worm and Johnny Hopkins, whoever they are.
I love all
Johnny
my nieces
Glover,
and nephews, man. But we have a few potential babysitters in place, man. When Loxley gets here, we'll check out a Durham Bulls game. My wife, she actually is a lover of sports, like I am, and she loves going to Durham Bulls games. We checked out a few games, last season, and baseball season is just starting back up. So we'll be at the ballpark, man. Don't worry about it. We'll be at the ballpark.
I'm going with the 7th inning stretch.
Wow, we are definitely brothers, because my number 2 was the 7th inning stretch, but I took it off to make it all encompassing. But go ahead, man. I swear, I lied to you not. I'm looking over my notes right now, and I have 7th inning stretch. Can you see it?
I see it. We are,
oh
ladies
my
and gentlemen, we're using FaceTime. As you know, Daimeon records from Banks Boy Studio in Durham, North Carolina. I myself am in Columbia, South Carolina. But sure enough, he has his 7th inning stretch written down as number 2. I'm glad you didn't say that, because I probably would have tried to change it up real quick. But when you think about the 7th inning stretch, you have to think about Wrigley Field. They get a celebrity every game to come out, sing the 7th inning stretch. I've always wanted to be the guy to sing the 7th inning stretch. Maybe I'll make it big in podcasting, and the Durham Bulls will give me a buzz and have me come out and sing the 7th inning stretch. A lot of people compare me to Luther Vandross. It's just always been a dream of mine. I love everybody coming together and singing, that melody, man. It takes me back to going to see Florida Gators games, and at the end of the third quarter singing "We Are the Boys." Anything like that. I'm always a huge fan of people coming together and doing and being on one accord. So the 7th inning stretch, my number 2 reason that you should definitely go to a live baseball game.
Awesome number 2, Pierre, 7th inning stretch. Like I said, I had that before. And when you think about the 7th inning stretch, you do think about the Chicago Cubs and singing "Take Me Out to the Ballpark." I myself would love to go to a Durham Bulls game or a Cubs game and sing the 7th inning stretch, because you say you have a voice like Luther. I used to sing backup for the Shy Lights. Yeah! But my digression is at an all-time high.
Bet you by golly. Number 1.
This should be everyone's number 1 reason to go to a ballpark. It's the food, man. Like you said, dime hot dog night. I'm talking about all the food. Hot pretzels, popcorn, funnel cake, French fries, nachos, everything, man.
It gets no better, man. I'm telling you.
Everything. You got hot pretzels, put the cheese on the hot pretzels, man. Popcorn. That's an old tradition. You can't get any better. That's tried and true popcorn. Funnel cake. Some people like it with powdered sugar. Some people like it with fudge. Some people like it with both of them, man. French fries, hot and crispy, a basket or a cup. I don't need ketchup, man. I just need the fries. Hot dogs, man. Chili, coleslaw, mustard. Some people like it with relish, man. Nothing beats coleslaw and chili. Coleslaw gives you the juice. You know about it. My brother Tony Banks, man, I used to hate coleslaw when I was a kid. But, you listen to your older brothers. My older brother Tony Banks was like, hey, man, you better start eating coleslaw. I was like, why? He said, because it gives you the juice, like Barry Sanders. I was like, okay. So I started eating coleslaw, and now I love it. I can't eat a hot dog without coleslaw and chili. But some people like relish. Some people like, pickles.
Some people like sauerkraut. I think that's a northern thing.
Some people like sauerkraut, but I digress. Now, it's a debate on what type of Frank you like. Do you like Sabarette? Do you like Nathan's? Hey, man, I'm not going to lie. I like the pink hot dogs. I don't have to have a name brand hot dog, man. But now, don't get me wrong, Nathan and Sabarette, delicious. But I don't have to have a name brand hot dog. I just have to have the hot dog and the condiments to go with it, man. So my number 1 reason for going to the ballpark to check out a baseball game is food. And anyone who knows me knows that I love to eat. I love food.
My number 1 reason that you should definitely go out and check out a live baseball game, it's a family affair, man. You can go out there with your wife, if you have one of those, girlfriends. You can take your kids. If you go to an NFL game, you go to an NBA game, you have to sit right there in your seat, man. And when everybody stands up, you have to stand up. In a baseball game, a lot more freedom. You can be on the hill. You can have the kids running around doing what they do. The kids can get involved in the game by having their gloves, like you said, catching a foul ball, home run. It's so many things that you can do at a baseball game as a family. And I'm real big on family. Like we mentioned earlier, it's 17 of us, 12 boys, 5 girls, a lot of nieces and nephews. So anything that we can do as a family, I'm all for. And baseball is the sport where you can just have the most fun with your family out of all the sports. So my number 1 reason, it's a family affair. Get your family together. Take them on out to your local minor league baseball stadium. Take them out to your local major league stadium. Take them out to see the Wolfpack. Take them out to see the Tar Heels. Take them out to see Wake Forest. Down here, we got the back-to-back national champions in 2010, 2011, South Carolina Gamecocks. Clemson, not too shabby. Take them out to a college game, high school game. But go and watch a live baseball game. You will become a fan. You have the all things sport guarantee that you will be a fan of baseball after that.
Pierre, I'm going to tell you, buddy, I rather enjoyed this top 5, man, because baseball just doesn't get the love that it used to. So we kind of meshed our second part of the hot topic into the top 5 and created, podcasting gold.
Shout out to Pete Shankle, the man that I first knew that loved baseball more than anything in life.
Coach Schenkel used to cut that baseball field every 3 days a week. He was out there cutting that baseball field, man.
During football season. And he was a football coach. He'd be out there.
Coach Schenkel loves baseball, man. Shout out to Coach Goodwin as well. Also love baseball, man. Like I said, we grew up watching baseball, still watch it, still love the game. And we think that, Americans, as this is America, Jack, we should love baseball as well. We're going to wrap up this segment on the All Things Sport podcast. But before I wrap up the segment, just got an update on my phone. Baltimore Orioles 4, Minnesota Twins 2. Orioles are now 2-0 in first place in the American League East Division. Go O's.
Pump your brakes, homeboy, because like I said, the Boston Red Sox won the other day. They were up before we started the podcast on the Cleveland Indians. Oh, did they lose?
They lost.
Oh, my goodness. Come on, Poppy. It's Poppy. Listen, this is an emotional year for me, man. It's Kobe's last season. It's Poppy's last season. What's going on with my heroes, man? Everybody's going down.
I have no idea. But on April the 6th, 2016, the Baltimore Orioles beat the Minnesota Twins 4-2 to improve to 2-0 in the season and to take the lead in the AL East. I am predicting that the Orioles will never relinquish this lead. They will go on to win the American League East and represent the American League in the World Series.
To His Majesty King Joffrey Joffer, the Royal Palace, Zamunda.
If they do not, do you stand ready and willing to renounce your throne?
I will never renounce my throne. Kings are either disposed, they die on the throne, or they are, they're killed, taken over in a coup. I will never denounce my throne as King Joffrey Joffer. With that being said, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back after this break. We're going to wrap up the show. Going to debut a new segment on the All Things Sport podcast, the All Things Sport Real MVP. Hey, man, I think this is going to be a really good segment on the podcast. We're going to take this commercial break and be right back with the All Things Sport podcast on Spreaker Radio.
Join us every Friday for the All Things Sport podcast with Daimeon Banks and Pierre Banks on Spreaker Radio.
Pierre Banks here, thanking you all for listening to the All Things Sport podcast. Please subscribe for much more of the show. Also, join myself and Rudy Mondragon for In My Humble, The Split Decision, where we discuss all things boxing and what is just our humble opinion on the In My Humble YouTube channel.
The All Things Sport Podcast.
We go back like spinal cords and car seats.
With Daimeon Banks and Pierre Banks on Spreaker Radio.
Welcome back to the All Things Sport podcast. I'm Daimeon. He's Pierre. Again, thank you all for listening to the All Things Sport podcast right here on Spreaker Radio. Pierre, this show has been absolutely phenomenal.
It's A1.
We're going to debut a new segment on the All Things Sport podcast.
You the real MVP.
And the real MVP on this segment, we're going to highlight, athletes. We have the Bruh for Real segment, Pete, where we, pretty much highlight all the bonehead things that athletes do or coaches do or anybody in the world of sport does. The real MVP segment, we're going to highlight the good things that players or coaches or GMs or what have you, the good things that they do, the risks that they take, the great actions of these players / coaches / anybody who's involved in the world of sports. So with that being said, I'm going to kick off the inaugural The Real MVP by nominating newly hired head coach of the Cleveland Browns, Hue Jackson, formerly the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. Hue Jackson, you are the real MVP for this All Things Sport podcast. First of all, you took the head coaching job for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns haven't been good since probably never. I mean, they've been okay a couple seasons, but they've never been really good. Let me take that back. They did win an NFL championship when Jim Brown was playing, but they won an NFL championship when Jim Brown couldn't even use the bathroom with some of his teammates. So Hue Jackson, you get my the real MVP for taking that head coaching job for the Cleveland Browns, and you also get the real MVP for